So geopolitical risk, you saw those interesting, compelling pictures in the Gulf of Oman. That's what's moving things right now. So energy stocks tend to be a little bit on the higher side here. Semiconductors, consumers are flat. This is contrary to the trend in the last 6 weeks. Generally, energy's been down, semis have been down. Generally, consumer staples have been up. So a little bit of a switch in the way this pattern has been going in the last 6 weeks or so. Energy stocks, a nice move up here. But again, you don't see this very often. Generally, the demand equation is pretty poor here. So if you look at some of the energy stocks, all up 2%, 2.5%, 3% overall. But don't kid yourself. It's been awful for the whole energy complex for a long time now. The S&P, remember, is 3% from its recent highs. Look at some of these complexes. This is the way I look at the world. ETFs. Oil services, 55% off its 52-week high. Exploration production stocks, 45%. Natural gas stocks, 36% off their 52-week high. It's been a disaster generally, and largely it's because of the demand side, not the supply side for these companies here. Retail and tariffs. I thought it was very interesting. Two companies, Restoration Hardware, talking about raising prices, concessions from factories, maybe moving operations out of China. Not just them. Oxford, this is Tommy Bahama and Lilly Pulitzer. They essentially said the same thing. Tariffs would add $5 to a $100 shirt. They're talking about raising prices. They're talking about concessions from their suppliers. They're talking about maybe moving factory production around. So this is not just a one-off. This is in the water supply right now, this kind of talk. I think it's very important. Well, both of these stocks, by the way, are trading up rather nicely because the numbers they reported were really good here. Look at this. Restoration Hardware was $90. A few days ago. So that's a huge jump. Oxford also nice move on the upside today. The IPO Palooza, David was talking about, Jim was talking about the IPO Palooza that we've had here. Really rather remarkable because we're seeing a lot of companies raise prices and price above in the last couple of weeks, and that's a different trend here. So we've got Fiverr. They're all sitting out here. Lots of earnest, good-looking millennials right over here. Haven't opened yet. Online marketplace for freelancers. 5.3 million shares at 21. The price talk was 18 to 20. They priced above the range. We've got a Chewy tomorrow that's going to be down here. Of course, that's a big pet e-tailer. 41 million, 19 to 21. Price talk was 17 to 19 just a couple of days ago. So you see these numbers are getting raised here. And this was contrary to what a lot of people were saying 2 or 3 months ago, that there's too many IPOs coming. They're going to have to drop the prices. Well, maybe, but it hasn't happened. And look how the unicorns have done this year. It's really rather remarkable. Some of these things, Beyond Meat, Zoom Video, PagerDuty, CrowdStrike, Pinterest. Look at these numbers here. They're not dropping. Now, of course, they have the best thing of all time. You have an up market that always will help them. We haven't had a serious notable sell-off. What do they all have in common? They all had fast growth and large market opportunities. So I know everybody throws in my face, what about Uber and Lyft? Well, there's something in common that these companies have here. Obviously, they have deep losses. They're in the ride-hailing space, both of them, and valuation issues. Neither had a publicly successful, big publicly traded company they could compare themselves against, and both priced well above their last round of funding. So they do have something characteristic. By the way, the whole IPO market is up, not just the stuff that's coming in the last few weeks, but the stuff that's been out for several months. This is the Renaissance Capital IPO here, up 33% for the year. There's the S&P 500, up only 15% for the year. So this includes stocks that have been public for several months already. So the overall IPO market is lifting. What we call the aftermarket trading is lifting. I don't know how long this is going to go on. And obviously, if we have some serious market downturn, there's a lot of perfection priced into these stocks. They're going to get hit. But for the moment, this has been a very, very successful IPO year.